Whitney Young Dolphins football is on the air. We're joining you today on a lovely Saturday morning in Chicago. The Whitney Young Dolphins hosting the Lane Tech champions. So Dolphins come in today 1-3 on the year. Lane Tech comes in today 4-0. I'm Barry Newman, joined today by Scott Clayton. Scott, good to have you back.
Good morning, Barry. How are you?
All right. We, as usual, we had to scramble a little bit to get on the air, so not as quite of a long of a pregame segment as I had necessarily planned. But let's go through some of the top highlights right now. One is this Lane Tech team comes in their best start since 2003, seeking their first playoff berth since 2013. So this is Coach Diedrich DeWalt's third year at Lane Tech, and what you're going to see today is something akin to what you used to see with a black and white TV and maybe some rabbit ears on the top, because Lane Tech runs a double wing offense. So double wing offense, meaning they line up 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, a quarterback, fullback right behind him, and then 2 wing backs, basically guys that face off looking toward the quarterback at the start of the play. And they're running the ball 95, 98% of the time. And it's worked for them so far this year. So that's what we got to face. What do you think about that, Scott? How are you going to attack that defensively?
We've said it before. If the defensive ends stay at home, funnel everything through the middle, we should be okay.
Yep, I think so. I actually, if I remember to bring this up here, I've got a quick interview from Coach Dan Finger. We'll see if we can get that playing here while the captains are out at midfield right now. Captains again for the Whitney Young Dolphins: Anthony Hood, Bennett Newman, Joseph Clayton, and Alex Dale. So we'll, if I can get the Coach Finger, here's his interview. 3 minutes. I caught up with him earlier this week. Here's Coach Finger.
Young Dolphins heading into week 5. Before we jump and talk about today's game against Lane, let's get some of your reflections on the Clark game. I mean, to me, it was player 2. Ball bounces one way or the other. Something goes a little bit different for us. We got a different outcome. How do you look at that game?
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, the style of offense they run with the clock ticking and everything, you know, we really got to make the most of your possessions. And, you know, we lost the turnover battle, and so that really came to hurt us in the end. Even though, you know, we gained them in yards, and you know, offensively we're moving the ball a lot better than they are. You know, they capitalized on a takeaway, and we didn't value the ball as much as we needed to down the stretch.
All right, very good. Now we face off against Lane, a little bit of a different challenge. So walk us through a little bit. Let's take maybe the easier equation first, and that's Dolphins on offense, Lane on defense. What are we going to be looking at from that perspective?
Yeah, they play schematically pretty similar to what we run. You know, 4-2-5. They're going to give us an under front, so 2-5 technique defensive ends on the outside there, outside the tackle, outside shoulder of the tackles, and they're going to give us a 1-tech or a 2-eye, so a defensive tackle on the inside shoulder of our guard, on the outside shoulder of our tackle there, to the wide side of the field, and a 3-tech tackle, defensive tackle, on the outside shoulder of our guard to the boundary, to the short side. So a little bit of a different front, but something we've been practicing all summer, and nothing totally unusual. And they're going to play some cover 3 and cover 2 and cover 4 on the back end, just like we do. So it's been fun preparing for, and it's stuff our guys are seeing all summer. So we're excited that they should be comfortable with what they're seeing. Now we just got to go stop some good athletes that they got over there.
Very good. And then maybe more interesting on the other side, when Lane Tech gets the ball, how do we attack that double wing formation of theirs?
Yeah, it's you know, it's a throwback. You don't see this at the college level at all, or the NFL level certainly. So it's something only high school football gives you, which is fun for us. It's not all that different from Clark's offense. There's just going to be a few more moving pieces, but really tight splits from the O-line, very little room in between them, and a lot of down blocking and pullers coming and some motion, and just run heavy, and basically we just need to be gap sound and trust each other and not get lulled to sleep by 3 yards at a time, 2 yards at a time, 1 yard at a time, because that's when they're going to hit a big one for 20 or more. And we saw that last week in the game against Staff, a 55-yard touchdown run and some other plays. So it's definitely a new and exciting challenge, but we want to play aggressive and attacking for sure.
All right, very good. Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck. Go Dolphins.
Appreciate it. Go Dolphins.
All right. We got the national anthem to start us off with today. Again, Scott, this kind of feels like a football day.
We went straight from summer to fall.
Yeah. All right, so looks like Lane won the toss, and they will be kicking to the Dolphins. We do have the PA announcer with the very loud speaker right behind us. So I'm not sure that if you're picking up at home, hopefully we'll be able to survive the game and call it for you. Starting out of the gates right away, we got Will DeMille and Anthony Hood back deep for Whitney Young. Lane Tech this year, again, 4-0, coming off a huge win for them last week. 16-6, they beat Taft, a team that had taken them down twice last year and really has had the number of most teams in this conference. So to see them come out on top last week, I have to say Lane Tech had a game where a lot of things went their way. I mean, they played a great game. You're going to see that running offense today. They also had a fumble in the game that bounced right up to one of their offensive linemen who took it in for a touchdown. So, Scott, I kind of feel like they played the opposite of what we had last week, because last week in the Whitney Young-Clark game, it felt like every bounce went the wrong way for us. So here we're going to get underway. Kick is short to the Lane Tech assistant coach on the side. That's a nice start. They're a little afraid of Anthony Hood, so they went about as far away from him as they possibly could.
You mentioned last week's game. It seemed like we were playing Clark, the elements, and the officials.
Yeah, it was a little bit of that. I'm trying to turn the page on that because there's without a doubt that game comes out differently if any one of 10 different things happen. But that doesn't matter today. We're on the field. Newman starting at quarterback. He's got Joseph Clayton behind him. And the Dolphins come out with 3 receivers to Newman's right. That's Dale, Hood, and Gassa.
One up top.
Hood in motion to the left, joins Duhan over there. Newman back to pass. Right off the bat, hits Q-Do.
Good start.
Duhan picks up about 3 over on the sidelines.
I'll tell you what I liked on that play. Newman got the ball, got it out of his hands, and the offensive line held up.
Yeah, yep, and that'll be, of course, always an important thing. This offensive line played really, really well last week. They gave Newman time in the pocket. We did definitely move the ball up and down the field. Didn't put things away as much as we would like to. 2 touchdowns last week, 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Gassa, 1 to Anthony Hood. So now we roll out. Hood is in the wildcat position. Rolls Duhan. Hood looking for a seam off on the right-hand side. He's got some. Positive gainer.
Effective blocking there, too.
Yep. Beyond the stick, so first down. And that's going to be a huge thing today. With this Lane Tech offense, it's a ball control offense. All right, I mean, they have the capability of putting together 10, 12, 15-play drives that just drain the clock, and that's what they want to do. I mean, that's the idea of this offense. So important for the Dolphins to be able to get first downs, control the ball as well, and get some sustained drives. So Newman takes over 1st and 10 just outside the 50-yard line. Dale in motion. Handoff inside to Hood. Hood wrapped up pretty quickly right off the get-go.
Not sure where the breakdown was on that play. He came right up the middle.
Yep, so second down. And again, it's when this Dolphin team clicks offensively, usually it's a balanced offense. I mean, we saw against Good where they could just run and run and run. But usually you want to try to keep things off balance. Lane's going to show you some different looks, some zone. Like right now they're in a 2-deep zone. So you're going to try to find, the receivers are going to try to find those soft spots. There's Joseph Clayton out of the backfield. Nice catch. Keeps his feet going and out of bounds right at the sticks.
Joseph Clayton close to a first down.
I've already given this trivia question. How many passes did the Dolphins complete all last year to running backs?
I'm going to go with 0.
Well, it was 2. Okay. They were both to Joseph Clayton in the second game of the year. That was that against Sarah Good, I think.
All right, I'm gonna claim that I was at his brother's game, so I wouldn't know that, so I don't get labeled a bad dad.
Third and short, handoff up the middle. I think that was Hood on the carry. No, it was Clayton on the carry, and he got enough for the first down. So moving the chains. So again, talking about the balance. So a nice pass to get it going with Duhan, then a run by Anthony Hood for the first down. And now the Dolphins convert another first down. So they're at the 42-yard line of Lane. We've got just started here in the first quarter, 8:50 left in the first quarter. Newman back at quarterback, calling for signals, 3 receivers to his right. That's going to be a dangerous pass. Duhan somehow brings it down.
God bless him. That was an amazing catch.
Yeah, so they were in a trips formation over there. And I will say the other thing that I was thinking back to last year's game, and Jack Wildermuth actually gave me a great, almost play-by-play of that entire game. But it was a game that prior to that, the Dolphins had not thrown a lot of wide receiver screens, and they threw a couple successful screens out to Will Carter. Shout out to the Carter family on that one. That time it didn't work as well. Dangerous pass, but Duhan came down with it, so at least it remains the Dolphins' ball, and that's an important thing. I mean, the Dolphins cannot turn the ball over today. Inside handoff to Clayton. He finds a hole, gets back to the line of scrimmage.
I'll tell you, of the wide receiver core, I have really been impressed with number 5, Quinn Duhan. He has displayed great hands, great concentration, and as he progresses, he is going to be a tremendous asset to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Quinn, first game had a nice long reception, like a 75-yard reception, and then in the game against Good, had a great punt return as well as a couple key receptions. So 3rd and long, Newman with some time, looking, gets it out there, close to the sticks, maybe just inside. I think that was to Anthony Hood. So a nice job of Anthony securing that catch.
Yeah, it looks like they're about a yard short.
Yep, got
short of the first down. It's 4th down.
4th and 1. Dolphins looking for their 3rd first down on this drive. See if that offensive line. So offensive line, Buster Sabeda at center, Nick Dale, Baba Nefasimi Obadele at guards, MJ Woods and Jason Perez at tackles. So, all right, big boys, let's get some push up there and let's move the chains for another one. So 4th down, Newman under center.
Clayton is extremely deep.
Clayton deep in the backfield. Newman tried the hard count, didn't get him off sides. Hand off to Clayton. He's met and going to be close, Jason Perez is signaling first down. He's got a good view of it.
Brought down by 78, Julian Hutchinson.
I think they're saying he did not make it. I would like to see the chains come out for that. No, they did move it. They did move it. Okay,
no,
good.
they gave it to Lane, I believe.
And Lane Tech holds on downs. Turnover.
Yeah, Lane Tech held.
Lane 3-yard line.
So that was a play, tried to smash it up the middle, and weren't able to pick up the first down. So I'm going to play positive. I'm going to bring out my optimist thing here. And so at least the Dolphins got a decent drive going. Here we go with the double wing. It's a pitch to Finn Merrill. So Finn Merrill is their workhorse back, number 24. Finn is a senior, also a state qualifier in wrestling. And so you'll see some of that talents today. I mean, he gets behind that big line, and he has great vision. And so sometimes he'll just be back there, and then we'll hit a seam and pick up some yardage up the field.
I think it's worth noting, I think both of our defensive ends are freshmen.
Yep, so Rico D'Alessandro is in there. And there's Merrill with a pitch up the middle. And Baba Nefasimi Opedele in there, Alex Dale, Joseph Clayton, Anthony Hood, Quinn Duhan. They were all in there, and that's what we're going to need to do today. Tackle everybody. So
I have to say, I like what I'm seeing. That ball went up the middle, and it had the potential to break if he had gone outside. So these freshman defensive ends are doing their jobs.
So I'm going to say almost freshman. Barry Gordon, the third, is out there. He's a sophomore. So Rico
okay.
and BG3. But Buster Cepeda, Opedele up the middle. Let's see if we can get a stop here on third down. Pitch, this time to Casey Joyce. Casey Joyce, number 81, tackled by Nefasimi Opedele after a first down gain.
Number 81 for Lane.
So, yeah,
Joyce with the first down.
The people you're going to see handle the ball today the most. Number 24 is Finn Merrill. He's picked up over 100 yards rushing, I think, in 3 of their 4 first games. Casey Joyce, who's a converted wide receiver, he's number 81 that you see closest to us over here. And Spiro Memos is their fullback on many plays. There's Joyce in motion. He gets the pitch to the outside, picking his way through a bunch of Dolphin defenders. Probably picked up 4 on that. Barry Gordon checking out.
It'll be second down.
Jacob Mraz checking in. So I think this is going to be one of those games where we're going to, well, that was the defensive end contain that you mentioned at the top, Scott, is important on this because they do try to, they're going to try to push that edge and then try to cut back up the middle. Quarterback is Mark Seward. Seward with the handoff up the middle to the big running back. He's close to another first down.
It's Quinn Duhan on the tackle.
Okay, so that's Giannis Katsogridakis. Okay. And they convert a first down.
We're seeing here their offensive line with a big push.
Yeah, so the big guy up there, Solomon Butt, I believe, is number 72. And again, they line up 7 guys in the line of scrimmage, and sometimes they will pull the guard or the tackle from the other side as well, so really overloading on that side. You see the Dolphins completely stacking the box. There's Joyce, Mraz, and I think Anthony Hood in on that. So now the Dolphins going to rotate through. Nick Dale is now in at the D tackle spot. Buster Cepeda getting a quick rest, and this is something that, that's what Lane Tech does. That's what I told a few people when I watched them on film this week and some of their games. I would just get angry watching this offense. It just grinds you down. So they're at the 40 with a second down and about 5. So that's a double. That's the double reverse. And Joyce is still on his feet, and Hood's going to bring him down right around the 20-yard line. So that's the other play. So so they'll smash and smash and smash up there. But what that was is a quick handoff to Merrill, who then all handed it off again. So they'll do these double handoffs in the backfield. And what happens is, like on there, the Dolphins are cheating to the right because they see the guards moving to the right, but then Joyce is able to pop out over to the other side of the field. Seward under center. Giannis right behind him. I'm just going to call him Giannis. Handoff up the middle. And he's still on his feet, and he's going to find about
And that's a touchdown.
call the touchdown. So that was Giannis Katsogradakis.
Giannis Katsogradakis. And Lane's on the board and leads 6-0 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
I'll tell you, what I'd like to see the defensive line do is instead of engaging up top, just go down and create a pile, bear crawl, and gum up the middle. I think that'll be an effective way to stop that run and also cut down a lot of the pulling.
Lane Tech does have a really good field goal kicker.
The PAT is up, and it's
That's
good.
Mugdim
By number
Kriho.
41, Mugdim Kriho.
He kicked a 42-yarder last week, so you got Gradakis with a touchdown run to start the scoring.
Chicago Public League sports programs have
Or
provided
not
all
Gradakis,
students the
Giannis
opportunity to compete in athletics
Katsogradakis.
at the highest level. The Chicago Public League and Chicago Public Schools are committed to ensuring all students achieve excellence in both
All right,
sports
Scott, well,
and in the classroom.
I don't know if you listened in last week, but we do have a new sponsor for Dolphins football, Sorelli's Finer Foods.
CPS Athletics.
I think that even though it's, let's see, what do we got here, 10:15 in the morning. 10:15 in the morning, is that too early for an Italian beef sandwich?
It's never too early for an Italian beef.
Absolutely not, especially on a football Saturday like this. So Lane Tech goes on top 7-0. 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Wow, that quarter went by fast.
Well, exactly. So the Dolphins had a number of first downs, controlled the first half of the quarter, and then this Lane Tech offense, the grinder, went back at it for the second half of it. So kick is away to DeMille over there. DeMille takes it at about the goal line, gets north and south, and gets it across the 30-yard line. So nice job of DeMille. Will the Thrill DeMille getting north and south.
I got to give him credit because I did not think he was going to get that far. That, I think, was mostly his effort.
Pardon me, 33-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Dolphins.
Lane Tech has given up a few chunk plays on kickoff returns, so I know that there was some confidence within the kickoff return unit of the Dolphins, and DeMille showed that. I mean, because it was a tough kick, sort of sending him almost all the way back to the goal line.
For snacks, pop,
All right, so Newman,
hot dogs and
this is a new look with two running backs in the backfield. I think that's Hood and Clayton back there with Newman. Inside handoff to Clayton. Clayton!
No, that's Hood.
That was Hood,
Hood.
sorry. Thank you.
That was
Thank you, Papa
with
Clayton.
Clayton with the lead block.
Gavin Cole.
So I think the Dolphins are searching for ways to get this run game going, and putting both Hood and Clayton in the backfield is a nice way to do that. So Hood picks up 9 yards on that first down.
They also had 3 wide receivers split out, and I think what that's doing is spreading out the Lane defense.
Yep, so you've got Rico D'Alessandro on top, Alex Dale and Harrison Gassa down next to us. Another inside handoff. That's going to be enough for a first down.
Stick with what works.
Close to a first down. And the referees are signaling first down Dolphins.
I think by putting Hood in the backfield, it takes some of the focus off of Clayton. A number of the defenses the last couple of weeks were keying on him, and we could not establish a run game.
Yeah, we ran the ball great against why am I blanking?
Good.
Against Good from Clayton, Hood, and Luke Yolich. So now Newman at the quarterback position. Handoff up the middle to Clayton.
Run up the middle, it's number 7.
Stopped pretty quickly.
Joseph Clayton brought down again by 48, Gavin Cole.
So I think I'm going to try to pick up. I didn't have a good Lane Tech roster. So that's Gavin Cole is number 48, and he's made a couple plays. He's the starting D end. You're going to see a number of the same guys if you look at the Lane Tech defense. You've got Merrill and Joyce are in either safety or cornerback positions. So Newman at quarterback, Dale in motion to his left. Handoff to Clayton, slips in the backfield and then is swallowed up by 3 defenders, including Giannis Katsogradakis. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
And we're at the end of the first quarter.
End of the first quarter.
The score, Lane Tech 7, Whitney Young nothing.
So we hope everybody was able to find us over on the YouTube link. We had some issues at the top end, some of the technical side, as usual, and we were able to do that off of a different link. So if you're watching this and you have others that you normally watch it with, maybe copy the link and send it over to them to help us out.
The Chicago Public League asks all of its students, officials, coaches, families, and
so this is a big rivalry game. I mean, Lane and Whitney Young, in all sports, love to take on each other. I mean, Lane can, as the biggest high school in the state, 4,200 person enrollment. We face off in all of our conference sports against them. And I know there's always a lot of chatter directly, a lot of social media chatter. So big game for both of these schools. Still early in the conference schedule, but obviously an important thing.
So, not sure what happened there. I saw Lane twitch.
Yeah, there was, but the referees called illegal motion on the Dolphins, which is going to bring up about a 3rd and 16. I think Newman was trying to get him on the hard count, but maybe somebody on the line twitched a muscle.
Maybe sneezed.
Yeah, maybe sneezed. I mean, I think if you cover your mouth, you should be. You're not. I mean, isn't that just proper? Isn't that we're just like having good manners? Come on.
Hey, according to the president, we're post-pandemic, so I don't know what happened there.
All right, so we've got Gassa and Dale to Newman's left, Hood and Duhan to his right. Looks like Lane Tech sending 4. Pass off of Merrill's hands.
12, Mark Seward, incomplete. Batted down by number 24.
Newman aired it out there.
Went for it.
Had some in decent time there. One guy was able to sneak through, but Newman was able to navigate him in the pocket and still fire one out there, but wasn't able to connect with Hood on the back end of that. So here, again, a little bit of a challenge for the Dolphins. Brandon Bardsma continues to be out as the number 1 punter. So Alex Dale is back there. Ben Barrett with a good snap to him.
Decent punt.
Dale gets it off. Let's get a Dolphin roll. Rolls by. I think we take it to the house and just decide. I mean, Merrill was standing around like, hey, I definitely didn't touch it. I think the referees are going to
confer.
I actually would agree if I'm the punt returner that I pretend that I didn't touch it to try to sell that. But a pretty big call right here. We don't have New York to go back to on the replay on this. Jane, can you give us a replay on that? So, regardless of the outcome here, a good flip of the field for the Dolphins. The Dolphin offense is out on the field right now.
Oh, we can't advance a muff, but they did give the Dolphins the ball.
All right.
I'll tell you, I went back through the IHSA rule book because I was concerned with the face mask penalty last week, and I learned the hard way that in IHSA, face mask is only a 5-yard penalty.
Interesting. Okay. All right, so huge break for the Dolphins on that punt.
Excellent work by special teams.
So they're going to take over at the 15. So, again, the lineup with Newman at quarterback, Hood and Clayton in the backfield. Newman with a handoff to Hood. Hood gets the corner. Hood looking for a block. He's going to get in the end zone, but I think we're going to have a hold. We're going to have a hold on the outside, probably the wide receiver. I won't speculate on who that was, but I think we got a hold on the wide receiver on the outside. So it's gonna be a spot foul. Nice job by Anthony using the speed to get outside, seeing that lane.
I'll tell you, this has been a problem with the Dolphin offense. We break big plays and then inevitably get called for a holding penalty.
Yeah, yep, and it looks like they're calling that from about the line of scrimmage because now we're at 1st and 20. So they're staying with the look of the 2 running backs in the backfield. Newman, handoff to Hood. Hood up the middle for a yard or 2.
Tackle made by number 9, Katsogradakis.
Yep, so that was, again, Katsogradakis on the tackle, and 22 is Nolan Reynolds, I think they are. I'm gonna see if I can write down when I hear the PA guy announce. See if by the end of the day I will have a proper Lane Tech roster. All right, so now Newman at quarterback, Clayton directly behind him, 4 wide receiver set. Newman with time. Newman looking down the middle, going after Anthony Hood in the middle of that Lane Tech zone. So threaded it down there, but didn't quite connect with Hood. There was an opening there, not much of one, but Newman was able to put it in there, but just didn't quite connect with Hood. So it's going to bring up 3rd and long. Offensive line is doing a nice job getting protection again. Buster Cepeda at center, Baba Nefasimi Opadele and Nick Dale at guard. MJ Woods, the freshman, starting holding down that left tackle position, and Jason Perez at right tackle. So 3rd and long for the Dolphins. 4 coming at Newman. He's looking. He's got Harrison Gassa.
Excellent pass. Excellent
Newman
catch.
hit Gassa. Gassa up 6'4", got up and got that ball.
That's Harrison Gassa.
Great pitch and catch from Newman to Gassa.
That was just an all-around excellent play. They gave him plenty of time. Beautiful ball by Newman. Excellent catch by Ngasa.
All right, Solomon Bradley on for the extra point. Ben Barrett, the long snapper. Newman, the holder. Lane Tech offsides. All right, so last week there was a penalty on the play, and we decided to go for 2. I think today we called him Riverboat Dan Finger last week for a few of his calls. I think we'll just Newman will just scooch up
take
a yard.
Take the yard and
Solomon Bradley. We got to get Solomon Bradley his first varsity points here. So Bradley again. Brandon Bardsman is out. Barrett, long snapper, and kick is lines it through there.
I was waiting for the signal from the official.
Yep. I think timing. Solomon was fired up to get that first varsity point. He took off a little bit early. Newman got the snap down, so the timing was just a little bit off there, but kicked it through. So we're tied up, 7-7. Oh, I got to go back to my scoreboard function here to make sure that we're giving the Dolphins credit here. A little touchdown, extra point. Oh, you know what? I had forgotten the extra point for the Lane Tech champions before. So tied up 7-7, 10:43 left here. All right.
All in all, we're doing all right.
Yep, ended up where we needed to be on that after the penalty. So that was big time for 3rd and 20 throw from Newman to Gassa. Gassa with a really nice catch, his 2nd touchdown of the year. Alex Dale out for the kickoff. Kick is a short kick that Lane Tech immediately falls on at the 35-yard line.
Thought we might have another opportunity. He bobbled that kick.
Yeah, well, you never quite know with those upbacks what they're going to do.
I think a lineman got a little excited.
Yeah, they start that dream they all have, right? Well, and that was one of their guys did. He got the big man dream of picking up the fumble and going in last week. So now you get a view from this side of the camera of this big Lane Tech offensive line, and then just this double wing attack where they're all bunched in there together. Seward at quarterback. That's Joyce gets the pitch, and he just tries to work his way behind all of the blockers. Rico D'Alessandro, Clayton, and Dale and Anthony Hood in on that tackle. So what you see, the Dolphins there, the Dolphins have, in theory, the same defensive look that we usually roll out. So 4 on the defensive line, 2 linebackers, Tyson Hayes at the super back, sort of a safety position. But what you see is everybody is creeping down and is within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, basically. So that's Merrill now in motion, but it was a belly handoff up the middle.
Up the middle for a first down.
That was Giannis Katsogradakis again on the first down.
We have a bird's eye view, and so I was fooled by that, so I can only imagine what it looked like down on the field.
Yeah, yep. And again, it's a big offensive line. They are, they're just pounding on defensive lines, right? I mean, they're not worried about pass blocking. Literally, Lane Tech, and what they're trying to, anytime they pass, they're trying to go for the big play, but they usually pass the ball 2 to 4 times a game. So there's a pitch to the outside, pursued extremely well by Joseph Gray. And then Alex Dale comes to pick up. That was Jacoby Thurman on the carry.
On the 49-yard line. And that was Jacoby Thurman on the carry.
So Joseph Gray, freshman cornerback, did a really, really nice job of stringing that play out, made the initial hit on it, and then Alex Dale and company cleaned it up. So, again, you have both Gray and Brian Pantoja, freshman defensive backs, pressed into duty after Luke Jolich and Nasir Rankin have gone down with injuries early in the year. So they're doing a nice job out there. Brings up 2nd and 8. Seward, the quarterback, pitch to Finn Merrill.
24 up the middle.
Merrill's going to pick up a first down.
That's Finn Merrill.
And that's what you see out of Finn Merrill, is that just really nice first step. Puts his foot in the ground, reading the blocks of his offensive linemen, and really gets north and south in a hurry.
45 seconds left in the second quarter.
So another first down for Lane Tech. 8:40 left here in the first half, 7-7 game. 1st and 10 just inside the Dolphins' 40-yard line. Seward under center. Merrill in motion. Inside handoff to Casey Joyce. Nice job, Joseph Clayton.
Clayton knifed through. He got pancake blocked on the last play. He definitely made up for it there.
That's Joseph Clayton and number 3,
Yep,
Anthony.
nice job. And that's that's the one thing I asked Coach Finger this week is with all of that, with those 7 guys on the offensive line, and sometimes even when they do this misdirection, I mean, even the quarterback gets involved in blocking. They got 10 guys blocking. How do you keep Joseph Clayton and Alex Dale clean to be able to make those plays? And a lot of it is reading the guards and seeing where those gaps are and just being aggressive and taking your shot. And that's what Clayton did that time successfully. So Merrill in motion, double handoff to Joyce. Great job again, Joseph Clayton.
He stayed at home. He got off that block. He was engaged when he went for that tackle.
So Jane is on camera today, hopefully doing a much better job than the rest of us do. But you got a close-up view there from home of that double handoff. So a pitch to Merrill, and then he pitches it to Joyce. So, again, understanding what you need to do as a defensive lineman and the overall defense in reading a play like that. Looked like we had Buster Cepeda hop off the field. MJ Woods, I think, came in, checked in at a D-line position. So 3rd and long, and this is where probably not going to be a pass. Fumble, ball on the ground. So Seward fumbled it right away, recovered by Katsogradakis.
Baba Nifasimi Opedeli jumped right on him.
by 6.
So this brings up a 4th and long from the 37-yard line. They do have an incredible kicker, although I think a 47, 54-yarder is probably beyond his range.
It's beyond a lot of pro kickers' range.
Yeah, so the punt unit comes in. Anthony Hood back deep at the inside the Dolphin 10-yard line. Simon Olsen on to do the punting for Lane Tech. High snap, deep snap.
Flag on the play.
Short kick. It's going to bounce. Going to take a Lane Tech roll inside the 10. There is a flag down on the play.
Down at the 12-yard line.
We'll have to see what that is.
Pardon me, I'm sorry, the 7-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Dolphins.
So our officials going to get together on it. It is a little tough to spot yard lines down there because the soccer lines are also on the field there. It's giving me a little bit of a headache. I might. Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
If I fall down, you just keep calling the game, right? Keep calling the game.
No worries, we're professionals here.
All right, so it was a penalty against Lane Tech. Officiating crew is talking to Coach Finger. I think it's a question of, do you make them kick it again, or do you tack the yardage on? What do you? I think I'd kind of, well, looks like they're motioning the chain gang down.
Well, one official motioned, one official told them to hold on.
So I think, well, we'll see what's going on here. While we're waiting, check out Sorelli'sFinerFood.com. So again, Sorelli's our season sponsor for sandwiches. So our kids probably had a good breakfast this morning. They're going to play a full game, and then when they board the buses back to Whitney Young today, they'll have a excellent sub sandwich from Sorelli's. So Sorelli's, again, if you're in town, you can order catering from them. You can stop by their store at 6400, not the exact address, I think 6453. Jack Wildermuth corrected me last week on that, but somewhere out there. And then also, if you're out of town, check out the website. You want to get your care package of Italian beef ordered up to you, would be great. So they're going to repunt. The long snap is like a 20-yard long snap here. That's how they're going to try to make sure that the Dolphins don't block it. Extremely high. Dolphins on their way, not able to get to it. But the ball is going to bounce out of bounds at about the 18-yard line.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Whitney Young with 5:53 left.
So definitely a strange setup for Lane. I think they are worried about long snapping. The guy throws in like a St. Louis arch sort of snap to the punter who's 20 yards deep. Dolphins couldn't quite get there, but through the penalty, pick up 10 valuable yards. So instead of being in the shadow of the goalpost, they get a little bit of breathing room.
Special teams looming large in this game.
Yep, absolutely. Picked up a possession for us already, and there, although defense stopped the Lane Tech champions, and now the Dolphins take over. Hood in the Wildcat formation with Clayton next to him.
Lane is creeping everyone up in the box.
Hood keeps it. Still on his feet, still pushing.
Ball came out, but I believe he was down by contact.
All right, so, yep, extremely important to not turn the ball over today. So, Suleiman Butt, their top lineman on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I think number 74 in on that tackle, along with Katso Gradakis, number 9.
Looks like Hood got about a 5-yard gain.
So I think that Hood is running back in with the play, so we're going to stay in the Anthony Hood-led Wildcat formation. Trying to get the clock running and the Dolphins running. He's got Clayton to his left. 2 wide receivers left. Quinn Duhan in motion. Hood keeps it, cuts back. Not much there, probably loses a couple.
Brought down by 44, Zach Shashoa.
Shishoa on the tackle for Lane Tech. So that's going to bring up 3rd and long. So Newman will check back in at quarterback.
From the 22-yard line.
Newman back in at quarterback for this 3rd down play. Hands off some receiving gloves to Anthony Hood. So, you know, as a quarterback, you got to do those little things, help out your receivers.
Hand off the ball, hand off gloves.
So Hood working his gloves back on. Alex Dale in motion. Rush is on against Newman. He's throwing it deep to Harrison Gassa. I think we might get an offensive pass interference penalty here.
The push off.
Although we'll see. We'll see. There's definitely a flag. I have to see if they call the hold on the defender before, or if they're going to call the push off from Harrison Gassa. Harrison, nice play, nice pitch and catch, but they are going to call it a pass interference penalty. And as much as I hate to say it,
it was obvious.
It probably was the right call. I mean, there's probably some hand fighting before that, but then Harrison got that last bit of separation.
But anytime you see the receiver with his arms extended like that right before the catch, it's pretty much a safe call that it was offensive pass interference.
Yep. So nice pitch and catch again. Newman rolling to his right, got out to his big 6'4" junior wide receiver Harrison Gassa, but that's gonna move it back a bit. And you know, again, this is tough territory. So this puts us back where we were before the punt exchange on this. So now you got 3rd and long. Not much of a breeze out here today, but again, we don't have Brian Bardsma as a punter. So hopefully Dolphins can protect Newman, which they're doing. Newman back to Gassa again in double coverage. I think it actually went off his hands.
It did. That was actually triple coverage.
Yeah, and Harrison is maybe surprised that made it all the way through to him, but I think it bounced off his shoulder pads.
I'm really not upset with that play. I mean, if anything, it would have been the equivalent of a punt.
Yeah, well, as far as throwing it into the coverage, yeah, it could be. But let's come down with those catches in the future, guys. We know how to do those things. So Alex Dale, fair catch signaled by Merrill inside his 40-yard line.
You know, he called fair catch, and I don't believe the officials saw him make that call. There was a little confusion there.
CPS was excited to offer summer
so the Dolphins back on the field on defense. Buster Cepeda back in there. He's been rotating in and out a bit. We've got MJ Woods in as well on the D-line. He's getting more defensive time than what we've seen, maybe giving Baba Nefasimi Opedele a little break on the sidelines right now. Yep, I see Baba Nefasimi right over here. So probably just came over to make sure that those guys are hydrated. Barry Gordon at D-line, Rico D'Alessandro on the D-line as well. And the Lane Tech double wing is back in action. Casey Joyce, inside handoff to Finn Merrill. Stacked up there by Clayton. So about 3 yards on that. So again, you see Seward as their quarterback. He's sort of, a sleight-of-hand guy back there. He's like the David Copperfield. What he's trying to do is get those eyes of the defenders looking in different directions. So inside handoff, but then still fakes his pitch to Casey Joyce. So Casey Joyce, number 81 on the far side, and then Finn Merrill, number 24. So Joyce is in motion. That's a pitch to him. Gets behind his big offensive line. Pushes just short, I think just short of the first down, but that's a play. It looks like, yeah. So the Potta Dolphins call gets made by the public address announcer here.
I think I should get credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been using that for a little while here, but that's fine. He can feel good about himself. I like he's doing a good job out there. He's keeping us on track. He's filling in all of my Lane Tech roster openings. So 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. Seward under center. Katso Gradakis right behind him.
actually
pitch out there to Thurmond. Almost a stop made in the backfield by Clayton. So Jacoby Thurmond getting a little more action today than what we've seen in the past. We'll see where they mark that. Looks close. Might have to calling it a first down. I was going to say, I was wondering if our chain gang of Jack Wildermuth, Will DeMille, and Nate Diaz would get the opportunity to run across the field today, but they're going to stay on that side. So mark the first down. 2:25 left with the clock rolling here in the first half. 7-7 score. Lane Tech on a drive. Seward at quarterback. Double wing handoff to Katso Gradakis, who's stacked up immediately. Baba Nefasimi, Buster Cepeda in on that tackle. Great job there by the D-line. Big play. Stop him on that first down. Lane Tech checks in a few new guys for those end flanker positions. So Rico D'Alessandro, Baba Nefasimi, Buster Cepeda, and Barry Gordon on the D-line. Cepeda got a great start. Here's one of their passes, and he actually completes it, but we're going to have a hold in the backfield. So that was completed to Jacoby Thurmond. But we got holding on Lane Tech. So Seward was pretty darn excited because I think it might have been his first completion of the entire year. Sorry if he's completed more, if we have Lane Tech listeners out there. Not to take anything away from him. He's got to work within the offense, and it was a nice pitch and catch, but there was a hold. I'm guessing that was going to be on whoever was blocking Cepeda because he got a great jump.
Yeah, he almost got a hand on that pass.
Yeah, so right off the snap. I think his mom is telling him to drink some water right now to make sure he doesn't dehydrate during the game.
Got to bring the pickle juice. Got to bring the pickle juice.
So that was a nice, nice play for the Dolphins in that, again, it's a spot foul in IHSA rules. It's a punitive penalty. So they're all the way back out across the 40. 1:19 left. Back to pass again. Seward back to pass. Just out of the hands of a receiver I don't know. Hans Flynn.
Quinn Duhan had superb coverage on that.
So this brings up 3rd and 25. Lane Tech throwing the ball, stopping the clock. Each team with a full contingent of timeouts. So each team with 3 timeouts. 1:13 left here. See if Lane Tech wants to throw it again on this 3rd and long. I would think that they would just go back to their bread and butter here. Merrill in motion. Now Seward's back to pass, going deep, and he's open.
Seward, that's complete to number 10, Wesley
So
Nunez.
Hood and I think Joseph Gray were back there on coverage, and Seward was able to drop it in there. So that was maybe karma for me. Talking about his first down. So that huge 3rd down 25 pickup, 1:08 left.
Now I'm going to get technical here because number 73 was limping, and one of the coaches came out to midfield.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to take a timeout.
They called the timeout.
Yep.
They called
so
the
they're going
timeout.
to take a timeout, which doesn't make sure that they don't have to.
CPS is proud to partner with Honest Game to provide
They're going to have to pull that player out. So,
to ensure all high school students.
well, that was a big time play for Lane Tech. For not throwing the ball very much. That was actually a really nice throw by Seward. Dropped it right in there to their receiver all the way down to the 5-yard line, just out of the outstretched hands of Anthony Hood. I know he wanted that one.
For more information, please visit the Honest Game page on our website at cpsathletics.com or honestgame.com.
So again, 1:08 left. Let's see if this Dolphin defense, led by Cepeda, Opadelli in the middle, Joseph Clayton, Alex Dale at those linebacker positions, see if they can hold on here. So you're going to have 1st and goal at the 5 against this offense. That is a tough task facing the Dolphins here to try to hold Lane Tech out of the end zone here in the end of the first half.
I think it's safe to say that Lane will not be passing the ball.
I bet you're right. So they've got Merrill, Katsogradakis, and Joyce in the backfield with Seward. Merrill in motion, handoff right up the middle to Katsogradakis, and he's going to bully his way into the end zone for a touchdown.
Run up the middle by Giannis Katsogradakis.
So Katsogradakis with his 2nd touchdown run of the day.
Lane Tech leads 13-7.
Can't coach size.
Yep, so again, look like the Dolphins were going to be able to force Lane Tech into a punt or something, but came up with a big-time 3rd down throw, put it at the 5, and Katsogradakis takes it in. Mugdim Kriho on for the extra point. Kick is up and through. So that's going to give Lane Tech
And the score, Lane Tech 14.
a 14-7 lead here with a minute left in the first half.
Of our student athletes and staff is our top priority.
So this is where, as the Dolphins, I mean, you know, let's see, can we get a decent return out of DeMille or Hood here? You know, again, it's been it is a weak spot on this Lane Tech team, their kick coverage teams. They've given up some yardage. Can you get something off of this kick that puts you in a position? You got all 3 of your timeouts, and you know, at this stage, I think you want to keep the gas pedal depressed for Newman and those receivers. They've seen some good looks downfield, so let's see if we can collect this kickoff, get a nice return, and then see if there's anything left for us to do with a minute left here in the first half, trailing by 7.
I don't know that Lane is going to kick it away. And they proved me wrong.
So that's to DeMille. He collects it, trying to collect it at the 10. He's at the 20.
They're calling him down. They say he knelt down to pick it up.
Went down. Yep. So always a challenge as well when you're trying to
12-yard line.
pick things up in high school or college, where a knee grazes down and then you're down. So now when if you're Lane Tech, you've got some timeouts left. 59 seconds left. We'll have to see what the Dolphins and offensive coordinator Eddie Boucher dial up here. Newman at quarterback, Clayton at running back, Hood wide to Newman's left, Duhan, I think D'Alessandro and Gassa. So lots of time. Nice out route by Hood.
Pretty simple pitch and catch.
Yep, and Hood gets out of bounds for the first down.
First down, Dolphins.
Again, great job by that offensive line, giving Newman time to survey the field.
Lane is pretty much in a prevent defense.
Yeah, Lane plays a lot of zone, and I think, now they're going to be they're probably happy with that play too, and just giving up a little underneath route to Hood. 4 down linemen for Lane. Alex Dale in motion. Newman with time. Hangs onto the ball and gets sacked.
By number 48 for Lane Tech.
48 is Gavin
It's
Cole.
Timeout.
You know, as a parent, it's tough to watch as your 165-pound, 5'6" son tries to block number 78.
Yeah, so we just got a little overwhelmed there. I think Newman had, if he wasn't under pressure, I think I had Alex Dale over here on the left-hand side on a little wheel route, but I don't think he had enough time to survey the field. So first sack of the day. So again, the Dolphin offensive line has been doing a nice job. That play was just a little longer to develop, and they were able to get through for the sack. 43 seconds left. I always have to remember you guys can't see the clock here, so we should be checking in. So it'll be second and long, second and about 14 yards with 43 seconds left in the first half. Dolphins trailing 14-7. If you're just joining us, Lane has scored on 2 touchdown runs from Giannis Katsogradakis. Whitney Young scored on a Harrison Gassa catch on a Bennett Newman touchdown throw. So second down, Duhan goes in motion. The snap to Newman, rushes on. His hand gets hit. I think you want to get on that ball regardless. So it's ruled incomplete, but I think the rule of thumb there as an offensive lineman is if you see a ball rolling around, you should jump on top of it.
Newman is holding his throwing arm.
Yeah, well, he got hit right on in his motion. He's also been dealing with a thumb injury, so hopefully he's able to shake that off.
Third and long for Whitney Young.
Comes into the play with third and long, 38 seconds left. So I have the O-line hold up here against those big guys like Solomon Butt in the middle. 4 receivers. Pass complete outside to Hood. It's going to be short of the first down. They got about 10 on that pass, but it'll bring up 4th and about 5.
And it'll be 4th down.
4th and about 7, actually. So I think we're going to bring in Alex Dale on the punt team. So punt team comes on, Ben Barrett, long snapper extraordinaire. Also guy who answers the Whitney Young practice questions maybe better than anybody I know. Dale gets the snap. Dale hits a spiral that rolls deep. I think just let the clock roll. The clock never started. And it's down by Quinn Duhan at the 5. Never started the clock.
33 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, so once in a while we spot these things. I think at Winnemac Stadium here, a little crew has been on top of things, but did actually miss the start button on that. So clearly it's a Dolphin home game. We're at Winnemac, but I kind of feel like maybe that's a Lane Tech booster working the clock. So Jason Perez racing on the field, taking a D-line position next to Baba Nefasimi Opedele. We'll see. I mean, Lane Tech, they were able to air it out last possession. Key play in that was the big Seward pass that got them to the 5-yard line. Not something they do very often, but so Seward in the backfield, and he's just going to take a knee. So much ado about nothing, I guess. So we're going to head to halftime. Head to halftime with the Dolphins trailing 14-7. I think that's what we're doing here. I haven't seen any timeout motions. I think everybody is just agreeing to head back to the locker room and fire it up for the second half. So given that we're at halftime, let's talk about a few other things. So we've got a bunch of Whitney Young sport highlights to give you. Dolphin fans giving players a good round of applause as they come off. That was a well-played first half. Dolphins will get the second half kickoff, so that'll put them in a good position to get a drive started again. I'm pulling up my notes here because I got some fill-in from Coach O.D., Coach Connor O'Donnell, who's the head coach of the JV program. JV's got a nice win again this week, 28-0. So if I've got to get to it. I've got to get to my highlights. All right.
I received some intelligence that the opponent gave up.
Well, okay, so I'm glad that you said that, because in Coach O'D's message to me, it's we were playing against Farragut, and Farragut has not had a program for quite a while. So this is their first time of fielding a team in 5 years, and arriving at Whitney Young, they were already down to their third-string quarterback. So it wasn't necessarily a fair fight, but happy that they came out and gave our guys a game. I think JV. I think we lost our first game of the year against Hope, but I think after that we've had wins the rest of the way. So let me give you highlights. So let's see. They were not able to get anything on offense going for Farragut, which had a couple fumble recoveries. Lorenzo Rivas had a few highlighted tackles for losses. And then towards the end of the second half, Ray Tang, that was probably second quarter, Ray Tang Skodemeyer took an interception to the end zone, but for the second week in a row, it got called back because of an illegal block that was 20 yards behind the ball. So Ray Tang's has found the end zone twice on pick sixes, but each time there was a penalty. So as Coach O'D in his message said, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Hopefully it does not happen again. Offensively, Rico D'Alessandro, and again, we mention this every week, this is a year where we're back to normal rules, which means you can play 6 quarters over the course of a week. So a guy like Rico, who's out here playing wide receiver and playing some linebacker, also gets to play JV for 2 quarters as a quarterback. So he took the first half, came up to Coach O'D before the game and said he wanted to run the ball and throw deep to his favorite JV target, Joseph Gray. And Coach O'D said, I told him he needs to develop as a thrower. So what did Rico do? On the first play, he found Joseph Gray for a TD on a long fade. Also a long scramble in the second half drive. Rico was able to find Will the Thrill DeMille for a touchdown on a 3-yard hitch. Continued to throw the ball and had some necessary growing pains. Bunch of great plays. I think the other touchdowns, Rico, actually Ray Tang did end up in the end zone on a touchdown pass from Rico D'Alessandro. And then the 4th touchdown that the Whitney Young Dolphins were able to score was an outside zone run to Max Warner, who's been contributing big time on that squad. So Whitney Young JV Dolphins with a win. I think they're back in action, I think against Lincoln Park this Tuesday at Michelle Obama Field. I'm going to check in now. I have my crack correspondent, Jason Hockman, who, let's see if I can find, where is Jason Hockman's update to me on the Dolphin boys soccer. All right, so Dolphins continued their defensive dominance this past week with 3 games and conceded only 2 goals over the 3 contests. Last Saturday, Whitney Young traveled to a top 10 team in New Trier and lost a close 1-0 contest. New Trier in the second half when they got a goal side and Young defense and was able to finish a nice cross. Dolphins got back to condensed play against Marine Leadership. Young dominated the first half with multiple scoring chances. They hit the post multiple times, but only had a 1-0 lead at halftime on a goal from Reese Kushklov. I hope I got that one close. Super freshman MJ Hicks opened the scoring in the second half, taking defense held under pressure in the second half to preserve a 2-1 victory. Junior goalkeeper Jackson Springer continues to be solid in goal. Sophomore John Stanton has filled in for the injured center back Diego Delgado, and the Young backline has not missed a beat. Stanton has gained some great experience that will add depth to the Young defense come playoffs. Dolphins traveled to Hyde Park on Friday to play a Lab. It was Lab's homecoming game, and the Dolphins uses a slight of being scheduled as the homecoming opponents for some added motivation. Junior Dylan Zade got his first start of the season in goal. Young dominated early but couldn't find the back of the net. Junior Simon Skosden scored a highlight reel goal when he fired a left-footed shot near post at the top corner. In the second half, Young senior captain Alejandro Goldstein found some open space about 30 yards out and placed the shot in the upper 90 for the 2-0 victory. I don't know anything about soccer. I'm guessing that these things all mean something to people who know. Thanks again to Jason. Young travels to Evanston this afternoon, Saturday afternoon, as a conference tilt on Monday at home for senior night against Taft. Both Taft and Young are tied for first in the division, and this game will determine the conference championship and all-important first-round bye in the city playoffs. All right, again, thanks to Jason Hockman for that update. Let me give you a few other Dolphin sports notes, and then we'll move over to some Chicagoland high school football highlights from last night. Whitney Young flag football. Scott, do you play fantasy football?
You know, I haven't the last couple of years just because of my schedule, but yes, I've played it in the past such that I have traveled cross country, much to my wife's dismay one year, for 3 different leagues.
Nice.
One in Rhode Island, came back to Chicago for a draft, and then flew out to San Francisco.
Wow, that's, you can do those things online. Oh, we won't tell your wife that. Okay, you're right. He's got to go. He's got to go and do those things again. Anyway, I was going to tell you that I drafted Sonali Angus in the first round. Everybody looked at me, why are you drafting a quarterback in the first round? But Sonali Angus, the quarterback for the Whitney Young girls flag football team last weekend, Scott, 14 touchdown passes across over her 2 games. So 7 against the first game. I think that was against Air Force, and then the second game was against, I think, Lane Tech. But anyway, Whitney Young girls flag football undefeated in their conference schedule, so doing really well. And they played a game this past week against Lane Tech that didn't necessarily turn out as well as they wanted to, but I think they have a few games left in their schedule. Switching over, Dolphins volleyball, a huge win over Jones. This is Jones College Prep homecoming week, so we were able to spoil a few things, I think, for them. So big win over Jones. It was our Whitney Young whiteout that we visited their Jones with. So we're first in conference, undefeated in our CPL conference, 15-5 overall, with the conference tournament starting October 11th. Jordan Rogers leads the way for the volleyball Dolphins with 132 kills. Whitney Young girls golf, the Dolphin golfing out there on a 7-0 streak. They won their city qualifier, and they're on to city championships this Sunday at Billy Caldwell. Boys, Whitney Young golf, big win in city qualifiers this week over Taft, Abinson, and Northside. And then I believe they're on to the city championships. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind everybody that this coming week is homecoming week. So we play Phillips next Friday night in a homecoming game. So, Scott, you'll want to put this in your calendar. So Monday is Pajama Day. Tuesday is Jersey Day. Wednesday is Teen Beach Movie Day. Thursday is your class color day. And Friday is Blue and Orange Day. So bust out those pajamas for Monday and get the homecoming week started the way you want it.
You know, I regret that I am not going to be here for next weekend's game.
Oh, yes. So we'll touch on that a bit. And actually, one thing I haven't been able to track down yet today, and maybe if I have time at halftime I'll take a look, but I hadn't seen yet a score from the Phillips-Taft game. So, again, we talked last week on the broadcast about in our side of the conference, in the Red North, Phillips and Taft have been the historical powerhouses, with Phillips on top of that heap. So Phillips came into the game today 1-3. Taft was actually the game they played last night. Phillips 1-3, Taft 0-4. Taft after dropping a tough 16-6 game last week to Lane. So I'll try to do a search on that to see if a score is up on that. A couple games today that are very interesting. Morgan Park versus Kenwood going on 1 o'clock today at Lane. So that's the other side. That's the Red South. So Morgan Park, Kenwood, along with Simeon are the class acts of that side of the conference. So on the Morgan Park side, you got Tyson Griffin. He's a 4-star prospect. Got a couple SEC offers. Got an offer from Tennessee, from Missouri. He leads Morgan Park. Morgan Park right now undefeated at 4-0. Kenwood is at 3-1, and we've talked a lot about the talent that they have. A lot of people think that they have as much talent on that roster of anybody other than East St. Louis, which says a heck of a lot. You've got Khalil Tate, who's going to Iowa. Quan Davis is going to Western Michigan. Logan Lester is going to Western Michigan. And you got 3 other guys who will get offered, who have gotten multiple offers and at some point will commit. Marquise Lightfoot, Devontae Johnson, and Kevon Thunderbird. So that game's going on later today. A couple big games last night. Number 3 Lincoln Way took down number 11 Bolingbrook 42-32. So, again, very, very talented teams. I mean, Lincoln Way. So the 1, 2, 3 teams, I don't think anybody debates. So number 1, Mount Carmel, the Caravan. Okay, so Scott's giving me the score. So that's a Phillips 26, Taft 20 score. So Phillips gets the win. So Phillips goes to 2-3. So we'll face them next week for the homecoming game. Taft drops to 0-5. Thanks for looking that up.
False information. That says April 23rd.
Oh, okay. So that is not the right score. So hang on. We'll go back to you. We're working all of our angles here. Anything we can. So a few other games of note last night. Yeah, the Caravan Mount Carmel rolled to a 41-17 win over Ignatius. Coming into that game, Mount Carmel had outscored opponents 163-10. So just with, I think Vinny Rugai might be banged up over there at Ignatius right now, but they were still able to put 17 on the board. Loyola faces Fenwick tonight, so that'll be a good game. I mean, Loyola's rolled in their first 4 games of the year. Fenwick coming off a state championship, so good for them to square off. Also have a number 14 Lions against number 24 York today. A few other scores from last night within this Chicago Public League. Brooks defeated Curie 18-14. Simeon just keeps rolling. So Simeon, we lost to them a few weeks ago, 49-0. They took down Hubbard 56-0. So Simeon's ranked number 7 in the Chicagoland area and is ranked number 2 in the state in 6A behind East St. Louis. So it'd be awful fun if those two teams end up matching up at the state level. Last night, a big upset. Well, both ranked teams, but Hershey took down Prospect 23-6, and I think that was in overtime. And pretty cool last, I think a 35-yard touchdown pass to win it for Hershey over Prospect. St. Rita, big win over St. Pat's, 27-0. St. Rita's got a great team. Notre Dame over St. Viator, which I was interested in that game just because St. Viator has played really well, I thought, this year, and had a big win over Clark, 41-0 before we had faced Clark, but Notre Dame takes them down 33-7. Another upset, Joliet Catholic had been kind of climbing up the ranks on that side. Anthony Biersa, big offensive lineman heading to Northwestern next year, but they got taken down by, a great program in Crete Moni. So that score 48-42, Crete Moni over Joliet Catholic. Lincoln Park had a nice win last week, I think, over Peyton, but they were taken down by Bulls College Prep. They lost 34-12, but great to see Lincoln Park kind of putting things back together. They fall to 3-2 on the year, but a different program with Randy Brahim back and healthy at that quarterback position that hurt them last year. He got hurt in one of the first games of the year, and they were never quite the same. Also, just looking at some of our other opponents that we faced in Week 1, the Judah Millette show continues. So last night, Hope took on their big conference rival, Ottawa Marquette, and that was a game that last year I think the final score was like 62-45. Hope had lost to Ottawa Marquette, but they won last night 42-25. So Hope continuing to climb up those 1A rankings. So they were 5th coming into this week. Marquette was 10. So I could see Hope climbing a little bit more even on that side of things. So we got the two teams back out after halftime. I'm going to take a little hydration. Scott and I are going to both make sure we stay properly hydrated. Jane, you doing okay over there on the camera? All right, I'm sure everybody's enjoying that. So Jane is helping us out today, which is great because we're just trying not to say anything dumb, and that takes a lot of effort. And sometimes with all that effort, you can't actually move the camera around and not say something dumb at the same time. So we thank Jane for helping us out today.
I quit trying.
Some people noticed that. And I hope that everybody, it looks like we've got some people who found us, so I know that we had to switch the live stream. My thanks again to Tony McHale for getting us online. That was
big time to be able to help us out there. So we're going to get the teams back on the field right now. Again, the Dolphins are going to receive the second half kickoff. Taking a quick replay, Giannis Katsogridakis with 2 touchdowns for Lane Tech. The first off of their first drive, which was a sort of vintage Lane Tech drive where they were just able to grind it out, and then Katsogridakis took it in from about 25 yards out. Then after the Dolphins had answered on a big-time 3rd and 15 throw, and that was actually set up by a muffed punt by Lane Tech, but Newman Tagasa throw in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown tied it up. And then the Dolphins actually had stopped Lane Tech on defense, got the ball back. Why am I thinking that we did receive the first half kickoff? I'm sorry, that's right. They won the toss. So they won the toss, they being Lane Tech, the Lane Tech champion. So now Alex Dale is out ready to kick it away. And here we go. Start of the second half. Dale boots it to the 20. I think that's Finn Merrill over there.
There's a
whistle on the play right off the bat.
Whistle on the play.
We'll have to collect what that was. So anyway, a few of the big plays in the first half.
Illegal formation on the kicking team is the call.
Probably illegal formation on the kicking team is what they're telling us. So that may take the Dolphins back 5 yards. We'll have to find out what that's all about. But some of the other big plays in the first half, obviously the muff punt by Lane Tech gave the Dolphins the ball in scoring position. After a penalty pushed them way back, Newman was able to connect with Gasa. So that was big time.
Picking up the flag.
The flag has been waved off.
So now what do? You just re-kick, I guess.
Re-kick.
Okay, so Coach Finger got out the IHSA rule book and showed, hey, we weren't in an illegal formation, or maybe the referees got together.
Actually, it wasn't Coach Finger. It was official to official, and it raises concern when the head official doesn't know the rule.
All right, so Dale ready to kick it away again. And here's a kick. Boots it, maybe even deeper than it was before, back to the 15. I think that's Merrill.
24 Merrill.
And a nice tackle.
Tackle by number 2, that's
Barry Gordon. Barry Gordon III with a nice tackle, shoot down there on special teams.
From their own 31-yard line.
Yep, so Lane Tech will start at the 31-yard line. And while they, on their first few drives, had only run the ball, they did pass successfully in the last drive, their last drive of the first half. Huge third down conversion to put them in scoring position for Katsogridakis. So again, Seward under center, inside handoff to Finn Merrill. He's got some room. I think Joseph Gray closing it on the backside.
Gray scraping down the line. Looks like a gain of about 5.
At the 37-yard line.
So again, Seward as the quarterback a lot of times is just given some, just a lot of different looks back there. I mean, so while it's an extremely basic offense, you can still do a lot of different things off of it. You can do that belly run up the middle. You can pitch it to the guy in motion. You can fake the pitch to the guy in motion and hand off, which is what they did last time. So there's the ball's on the ground.
Hard to
Dolphins
see.
are saying
Dolphins
they've got
signaling.
Referee over here is coming in signaling third down. I'm not quite sure. I guess he was able to see that. I think Giannis Katsogridakis got back on top of it.
So it'll be third down, loss of a yard, 3rd and 5.
So I'm sure, with the Dolphins defense now, with Seward being able to connect on a few passes in the first half, now this is still a third and call it a 3rd and about 6 after that fumble. Maybe they go to that, but again, that's not historically what they've been doing this year with the double wing formation. So Seward under center. Merrill and Joyce in motion. Handoff up the middle to Katsogridakis, but it's stacked up and short of the first down. So I think Clayton
It's short
and
of
Hood
first down
in.
by inches. And it'll be 4th down.
Let's see what Lane Tech wants to do here. Looks like Seward is coming back on the field, so they're gonna stay on the field.
They're actually going to measure.
Okay, so our crack chain gang getting ready to bring it in. These guys have been waiting all week for this. Yep, here they go, I think. All right, they're going to walk it in. So, again, we got we're going to try to give shout-outs to these guys. Nate, Jack, and Will. Will's got to stay on the side. Will's manning the down marker. So we'll see if they've been doing a good job of things. It is a first down.
The referee's measured, and it is a Lane Tech first down.
All right, so Lane Tech was able to, after putting the ball on the ground, Dolphins were not able to collect the fumble, and then they were able to get the 3rd down run for a first down. So they take over, or not take over, but they continue their drive at the 41-yard line, at their 41. Dolphins defense has held up pretty well against this. Definitely stacking the box with everybody. Merrill in motion, pitch to him.
Merrill on the pitch.
Nice job of closing it up. Again, Gray coming in from that outside cornerback position.
That's Joseph Gray.
So those freshman corners starting to feel a little more confident in what they're doing and crashing in on those runs. So again, you got Gray, number 10, off on this side. I think that we still have Brian Pantoja in as the other corner. So those guys, definitely know that a pass is an option, but their job is to look, run, look, run, look, run. And now you see, we got Tyson Hayes from that strong safety position is up on the line of scrimmage. There's a double handoff, and there's Tyson Hayes.
Tyson Hayes.
Right on cue. So Hayes, an extra man in the box on the outside, was able to trip up Casey Joyce on that inside run, so it brings up 3rd and about 4 yards. So throughout the day, the Dolphins seem to be walking more and more and more guys to the line of scrimmage. So again, it's Hayes is on our side, has the outside contain. Rico D'Alessandro is the D end on this side. Clayton and Alex Dale as the middle linebackers. There's a handoff to Katso Gradakis up the middle, but he's stopped.
They stacked it up.
Anthony Hood cleaning up, and I think Duhan over there. And Baba Nefasimi Opadele. So
and it'll be 4th down.
Stoned him for no gain on that.
The Dolphin underclassmen have really stepped up.
Well, we're all underclassmen. Other than Alex Dale and Jacob Mraz, who got a little bit of time today. But I know what you're saying. You're saying like the freshmen and sophomores on this team.
The freshmen and sophomores are doing a great job.
Yeah. So let's see this. So Lane Tech's going to take a timeout.
Chicago Public Schools
All
and the
right,
Chicago
so
Public League are proud to
a
offer
timeout by
CPS
Lane Tech, and
for elementary students from 5th through 8th grade. Score is the official
I'd like to see a big
interscholastic
play out of the Dolphins here. I mean, they're just if I'm a Lane Tech fan, which I'm not, but if I was, I would be nervous about this long snap to punter transaction that goes on here, because it's not a, and this is I want to give a shout out to Ben Barrett, because that the Dolphins struggled with that a bit last year, and it hurt us in a couple big games. And Ben Barrett has been delivering those long snaps all year.
He's been doing a great
on
job.
A line. And so you'll see on here, you'll see the arch that comes in on this, which gives your defensive guys time to get in. It also, there's a whole lot of variables in play when you can't just deliver the ball directly. So, again, no offense to the Lane Tech long snapper, but I'm more than happy if he launches one over their punter right now. Anthony Hood back deep. There was the fake, and
Kind of saw that coming.
And it's enough for Lane Tech. First down.
So Lane Tech, you know, when you got the ball at the 50-yard line right around there, you can feel confident in pulling off a play like that. So it was a direct snap to Giannis Katsogardakis, and he was able to pick up the first down. So again on this, I mean, we've got 7:22 left. Lane Tech has been on the field. The Dolphins have shown the ability to get some stops here. So what you don't want to do is lose some of that momentum here because you just gave up a trick play first down. Joyce in motion. He gets the pitch. Nice job.
Clayton.
Joseph Clayton. Talk about just shooting the gap on that one. So Clayton able to stay clean, not get any blockers on him, and just shot through for the tackle.
From the Dolphins, 48-yard line.
So second down. Maybe a gain of 1 on that. So he's second down and 9 from the 47-yard line. Seward at quarterback for Lane Tech. Katsogardakis directly behind him. Merrill and Joyce also in the backfield. Joyce in motion, a pitch to him. Sealed up in a hurry. Joseph Clayton on the bottom of that with Tyson Hayes, but nice pressure in the backfield from a couple other Dolphin defenders forced Joyce to cut that up in the middle where he doesn't necessarily fare as well as some of the bigger runners that they have on their team. Dolphins force a third down again. We've had quite a few third down situations, but this is third and about a long 6. They've got to get to the 38-yard line. So now this is where Pantoja and Gray have got to be aware of a possible pass. Merrill in motion, inside handoff to Joyce. Great
Excellent
job,
work.
Quinn Duhon.
Joyce brought down by number 5.
Duhon held the edge, and then Barry Gordon came in to clean it up. So now fourth down. Punt unit is coming back on. So 4th and 4. Great job by Duhon.
Good things happen when you stay at home. He couldn't have played that any better.
Yeah, and Duhon, again, with the injury to Luke Jolich earlier this year, forced Duhon into that safety position where he is rather than the deep free safety. So punt team on. Hood is very short. Lane gets the kick away. Hood is calling for a fair catch.
He signaled for the fair catch.
Yeah. So his signal for a fair catch had a lot of traffic in that neighborhood. Coach Finger is not happy with it. I don't believe that the Dolphin fans are happy with it, but the ball hits the ground, and Lane Tech downs it at about the 5-yard line. So again, a short punt. Hood called for the fair catch, had a bunch of people around him. So 14 to 7. 4:40 left in the third quarter. Newman in at quarterback. Dolphins have been able to get some movement, but haven't got a 95 yards in front of them here. So be important for the offensive line to give Newman some protection. Inside handoff to Hood. There's the offensive line being able to push a little bit, maybe a gain of 1 or 2 on the play.
Looks like they gave him 2.
Hood on the carry.
So Hood had a touchdown run called back on a holding call, but other than that, it's been tough sledding for the Dolphins on the run game. I mean, Clayton had a couple good runs, so early on we were getting a little bit of push there, but have on the last couple drives haven't been able to get that run game restarted. Now I think we're going to look at what did actually work a little bit in the first half, both Clayton and Hood in the backfield with Newman. Lane Tech.
There's a flag on the play.
So Joseph doing everything he could to not get tackled in the end zone.
Joseph Clayton tackled by 4.
So a face mask in the end zone. So you always worry about those flags in the end zone if it's a hold or something like that where it would have been a safety, but it was a face mask. So the Lane Tech defensive line was in there in a hurry. And I don't know all of those guys' names in there. I know Solomon Butt is one of their leading guys. And somebody broke through, I think, grabbed Clayton by the face mask. Clayton did everything he could to not get tackled in the end zone, but that face mask takes it out. And again, as Scott said on the open, a face mask is a 5-yard penalty for some strange reason in IHSA. I think that I'm probably happy that more players don't know that.
I made the suggestion that they might just want to just start grabbing face masks.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't give you an automatic first down.
It is not an automatic first down.
So 2nd and 3. Clayton still in the backfield. Newman at quarterback. Receivers 2 to his left, 2 to his right. Play action pass. Connects to Alex Dale. Dale gets the first down, still on his feet. Out to the 20-yard line. Jacoby Thurman over there. A good job to pick up the first down.
And that's a Dolphins first down.
3:35 left here in the third quarter.
1st and 10. On the Dolphin 19-yard line. 3:27 left in the third quarter.
Let's see if the Dolphins, who had started this drive at their 5-yard line, can put some things together, at least get in positive territory here. So trips to Newman's left, Clayton in the backfield. He's going deep to Duhan. Oh, off Duhan's hands.
Pass by Newman intended, but for number 5, that's Quinn Duhan.
That would have been 6.
Can't say much about that one.
So the right play dialed up there by Coach Eddie Boucher and head coach Dan Finger.
Just got to bring those in. The right touch on the ball from Newman.
Yep. So again, the Lane Tech defense is, they play a lot of zone. It's kind of interesting. Sometimes they play a different setup on one side of the field than the other. They might go man-to-man on one side and a zone on the other. There they were able to find an over-the-top route that was open. So Newman back, has protection, whistles it into Dale. Dale, positive gainer. 7-yard pickup across the 25-yard line. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and short, 3rd and about 3.5.
2:45 left in the third quarter.
So Newman's found his tight end, Alexander Dale, a few times on this drive.
Hopefully these passes can open up some run lanes.
So 3rd and 3 from the 26-yard line. Hood split wide to the left with single coverage. Trips to the top side. Might be looking for a wide receiver. Newman got him on the hard count.
I think Obatelli moved. I think it's going to be on us.
A lot of pointing both ways. I was trying to influence what I could from up here, but yeah, you're right. A little jump on the. So that changes the equation a bit. So rather than 3rd and 3 or 4, you've got 3rd and
8.
A long 8. So got to give the Dolphins a little, give Newman some time in the pocket. So they're in the same setup. You got Hood with single coverage to Newman's left, trips to his right, Clayton in the backfield. Newman with time.
Pass intended for Hood from Newman, incomplete.
Just out of the reach of Anthony Hood. It looked like the timing was just a bit off on that play. So the Dolphin punt unit is going to need to come on here with 1:46 left in the third quarter. So Alex Dale on to punt. Finn Merrill deep at his 50-yard line. Dale gets it away. Merrill takes it at the 45 on the run. And he's tackled by Harrison Goss at the 30.
There's a flag on the
I
play.
think Brian Bentoja got tackled on that play by a Lane Tech player. So referees conferring here. So again, the Dolphins were able to pick up a little bit there, but converted a first down.
They're picking up the flag.
They are picking up the flag after, and this is not going to make Mark Duhan very happy here. There were.
I believe Mark Duhan and I were separated at birth.
Yeah, very strange on that. I mean, you saw like a Dolphin get spun around by the shoulder pads. So Lane Tech takes over at the 31-yard line. Taken over at the Dolphin 31-yard line. Seward at quarterback. Handoff to Katsogradakis up the middle. Opadelli and Duhan on the tackle, but that's one of those that Katsogradakis, I mean, he's just a load in there. And so he was able to pick up 7 yards before the Dolphins could take him down. Inside of a minute 20 left in the third quarter. Second down and 3. Middle of that line right now anchored by Nick Dale and Baba Nefasimi Opadelli. Seward at quarterback for Lane Tech. Casey Joyce on, I think they're just going to keep pounding to Katsogradakis. So that was tackle by Clayton. Clayton and Hood.
Hood on the tackle, number 3 for Whitney Young.
So Hood also playing a safety position today. And, you know, just again, with this double wing offense, what you're seeing is the Dolphins continuing to walk guys down into that box. So everybody is within basically 5 yards of the line of scrimmage at the start of the play. But still, they're putting a lot of bodies, a lot of pulling guards, a lot of hats on Dolphins out there. Seward under center. Joyce in motion. Pitch to Joyce, and then on the inside give to Finn Merrill.
That's Merrill for 5 yards.
Joseph Gray on the tackle.
Tackle by number 10.
So Gray doing a nice job on that backside cornerback position, and we've called his name 3 or 4 times today. So that's going to bring us to the end of the third quarter. So we're going to flip the field
and
here.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Lane Tech 14.
Lane Tech leading 14-7. Oh, I forgot on my scoreboard that I can actually change the quarter. So we're going to start the fourth quarter here. Scott, what are you thinking?
At this stage, I'm not sure. I don't know if we've got the answer. I mean, you factor in fatigue. You've got guys playing both ways. You've got Lane with a pretty significant size advantage. I think we go back to my original suggestion, have the defensive line knife down, gum up the middle, and force them to at least go around, make it difficult for them to go up the middle.
Yeah, I will say in all of their previous games, the guy who was getting the most carries was Finn Merrill. And, you know, while he's had some nice runs today, we've been able to shut some of those down. We've had some nice tackles on the edges. We've had Joseph Clayton shooting through for some nice tackles. The thing that's been harder for us to stop is that inside belly handoff to Katsogradakis.
Exactly.
And that's what they're leaning on, you know. And I would imagine with the ball at the 15, 2nd and 4 or 5, that we're going to see a heavy dose of the Greek here the rest of the way. And Baba Nefasimi Opadelli's logged the most minutes in the middle. I think Buster Cepeda back in there at the center position. There's a fumble on the ground. And this is one of those things. Seward and Katsogradakis were able to get back on it. And it just feels like we've seen the ball on the ground these last 2 games several times. And the opposing team has always been able to jump back on top of it. So Jason Perez checking in. MJ Woods checking out. So I think that we've gone a little, have we gone bigger? I was going to say, do we have a third big man in the middle, but no, I think that was maybe I thought it was Buster in their last play, and it was really MJ. So 55 Opadele and 67 Perez up the middle. Seward at quarterback. He's back to pass. It was a inside pass to Joyce. So that was covered up nicely. And Duhan and Barry Gordon on the tackle. So brings up 4th and short. So a little bit of a trick play where Joyce kind of held his ground on the left-hand side, and Seward spun back around and hit him, but the Dolphins did a nice job of closing that up. So brings up 4th and 2.
I think it's safe to say the Greek gets the ball up the middle.
I think it's safe to say that. Safe to say that. So let's see, Baba Nefasimi, Jason Perez, can you get some push in there in the middle? Alex Dale looking at that A gap like he's going to jump in there. And there's the Greek with the ball and the push on that offensive line.
It's like a rugby scrum.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And this is what I was saying. It's like this. I would just get angry watching this film. I mean, because they can do that, you know, and it's just, it is what it is. I mean, it's credit to their coaching staff for understanding the kind of players that they have. That they have size. They don't have and again, taking nothing away. I think they looked at the guys that they have, and they have a guy like Finn Merrill who has speed and has shiftiness, and they have all these big offensive linemen, and they're like, hey, let's make that work for us. So they busted out the double wing this year. Inside handoff to Joyce. That's strung along nicely. Duhan made the initial pursuit, and then Joseph Gray and a few other guys over there, maybe Anthony Hood.
I think that qualifies as a pod.
Sure. That definitely a pod on it. So positive gainer, probably picked up 3. It's going to be 2nd and goal from about the 3-yard line. They are tough to defend in this spot on the field. So backfield of Seward at quarterback, Joyce, number 81, on the left, Merrill on the right, and the Greek, Katsogradakis, up the middle. There's an inside handoff to Merrill, and he's going to find the end zone for a touchdown.
And it's a Lane Tech touchdown.
Yeah, it's just ground and pound. It's
Lane leads 20-7.
It's tough when you know what's coming.
9:07 left in the 4th quarter. On for the PAT is number 41, Craho.
So Mugdim Craho comes on for the extra point. He's been a perfect 2 for 2 on the day. Let's see if I can remember to give them the touchdown here. So 20-7 now. Snap and high snap. Joyce did a great job grabbing that, man.
That was an excellent hold.
One-handed.
Kick is up and good.
One-handed the snap and got the hold down. So Joyce was a wide receiver last year. We've actually seen him. He's been at some of the same workout stuff that Anthony Hood does in the offseason. And I think he's embraced his new role as sort of a running back in this offense. But there he showed his ball skills by handling that high snap and was able to put it down, and Creho put it through. So that was a short field that Lane Tech had to work with after the punt into Dolphins territory, pinned them deep, and weren't quite able. I mean, again, just a pass just out of the hands of Duhan that would have potentially gone the distance on that play. But anyway, we had a short punt, and then they had the short field, and were able to bang home about a 35-yard drive for that Finn Merrill touchdown run.
We got a little deception deep with the Dolphins. They didn't want to give up who was going to go to which side.
Yep. So Anthony Hood saying, "Hey, I want to take something back here." So
Lane noticed it, and the kicker changed up the angle of the ball. So
yeah, Coach Finger's not happy about that. So they're going to kick it. Pops it up in the air, short, on the ground. Hood picks it up on the run. He's able to get it across the 30-yard line.
Brought down by number 35 for Lane. That's Christian Rodriguez on the tackle.
So Newman back out on the field. Dolphins with 9 minutes left in the game here, so gotta get some things moving. I mean, this team has actually looked good in the 2-minute offense. Maybe a little early to go to it, but I think you've got to. It takes a while to get up and down the field on these things. So I think it's something where you want to play fast. Normally Newman's coming over to the sideline to get the play, but maybe we'll see some plays getting signaled in here.
Lane playing a 2-deep zone.
Yeah, there's going to be room in that zone to kind of chunk it down the field. There's a nice pass. Newman to Alex Dale, still on his feet across the 50-yard line. So here we go. Plays getting signaled in. Newman getting the guys back on the line.
Tackled by Nolan Reynolds. Ball inside midfield.
Signaling the plays to his guys. Inside the 50-yard line, 1st and 10. 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. Newman back to pass. I think there was all right, out of bounds. Duhan was over there. So now Newman can run over to the sideline with the clock stopped here with 8:42 left in the game. So offensive line giving up 1 sack today, but for the most part, giving Newman some time. He's hit Dale a number of times, twice in that last possession, now again here on this possession. Harrison Gossa with a touchdown catch today. Anthony Hu with a number of catches. Joseph Clayton with a catch out of the backfield. So we've been able to move the ball. Duhan in motion. Good protection. Going deep. Anthony Hood. Anthony Hood just out of his hands. Hood made an incredible attempt on the ball. Good coverage. I don't know if that was
probably a little too good.
I think
he got there early.
Thurman over there, maybe a little bit of bumping going on down there, but really good-looking play. Didn't connect, but third and 10.
I like the time that the offensive line is giving Newman.
Yeah, they're doing a great job up there. I mean, Lane Tech bringing 4, dropping back in that zone, but still a lot of work that has to be done with everything. So 3rd and 10. Trips to Newman's right. Duhan, number 5. Alex Dale, number 6. Harrison Gossa here. Here's the snap. Newman looking deep to Hood. He's got him. Oh!
Just out of the reach.
It looked like Hood stopped for a beat. I think if he'd have kept stride, he might have been dancing in the end zone.
That was one that they're going to want back. We've got a couple of those today, unfortunately. So that pass was out there, but it brings up 4th down. So I think they're seeing that single coverage on Hood over there, and they're liking it. Haven't been able to hood it. So now you watch, I think Joyce was back in coverage. So Joyce is the safety on this side. They're watching where Hood is. Still looks like single coverage on that side. But the Dolphins here, just to keep this drive going, got to pick up a 1st down. So Newman looks right, looks left.
He's got
back
blockers.
to Hood. Good upfield, and he's got it.
He got the 1st down.
Nice job, Anthony Hood.
Excellent work.
And it is. It's a 1st down for the Dolphins.
Put the ball in their superstar's hands, and he was able to find a way. So clock stops for a second here as they remark the chains, but they're signaling in the plays. Hood's going to check out for a second. Brian Pantoja's checking in. Pantoja to the right-hand side, trips to Newman's left. Clayton in the backfield. Good protection. MJ Woods picked off. Picked off. So there was a lot of traffic over there. Almost seemed like one of the Dolphin receivers got knocked off his route. I think maybe Duhan got knocked off his route. Not saying it was pass interference, but just a lot of traffic, and that pass picked off by Lane Tech. They'll take over at the 27-yard line. That's a tough one. So the Dolphins had a bit of a drive going, had some opportunities, and weren't able to capitalize on those.
I think the one thing we can take away from that is the offensive line proved that they can give Newman time.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of getting the ball back in their hands. So 7:57 left here, and Lane Tech's going to start the grinder. They actually have a different back in, but that's an inside give. Stacked up immediately, so I think that was Merrill, but Clayton introduced Merrill to the Winamac turf in a hurry.
Brought down by number 6.
I think the Dolphins might be taking a timeout here. So I think Coach Finger taking his first timeout here in the second half.
Chicago Public League Athletics is proud to partner with Gatorade to provide student athletes with healthy snack and beverage options prior to, during, and after all athletic competitions and practices. Each one of our district-managed high schools receives a variety of Gatorade products prior to each season, all housed in an official Gatorade refrigerator.
So I think Coach Finger just knowing we gotta get a stop here. We gotta get a stop early in this possession. Can't give up a number of first downs and have that clock going. So I think he was looking for an opportunity to give his team a quick break while we stop the clock here. 7:50 left. Lane Tech up 21-7. So restart of the action here.
I think it's safe to say they're going to keep it on the ground.
So it looks like Baba Nefesimio Padele, Nick Dale, Harrison Gassa, and Rico D'Alessandro on the D-line. That's Merrill in motion. Handoff up the middle to Gradakis. Brought down by Clayton and Duhan. So Coach Finger is going to take his second timeout here.
Looked like a little confusion in the Lane Tech backfield there. There was a collision between the quarterback and one of the wing backs.
Well, we could use a little more confusion. So, I hate to start saying, I'm going to say it though. I mean, it's like the Clark game just felt like, we said there were probably 8 different plays, opportunities there that went against the Dolphins. Some of them are own fault, or not necessarily just an issue, like the pick six. Is something that just pops straight up in the air to the most athletic guy on the field for Clark. They're able to take it back for a touchdown. Pass interference call was ridiculous. That led to their touchdown. This game, same thing. The ball's been on the ground a couple times for Lane Tech that we weren't able to get on top of, and a couple long passes that looked like they could have been touchdowns that were just in and out of the hands of Dolphin receivers. So we got 3rd and about 5. Handoff up the middle to Katso Gradakis. This is where finally some great job, some leverage on the bottom of that pile. So Clayton, I know that Hood came in there. Looks like Harrison Gassa was there again. Well, the public address announcer got it wrong. It's not over on downs.
It's not over on downs. It's 4th.
It brings up 4th down. But we admire and appreciate his enthusiasm for it. Thinking that Lane Tech went there on 4th, but there was just a 3rd down. Great stop by the defensive line and the linebacker core of the Dolphins. And they've gotten their stops today. Again, it's coming into this game, I thought, and I don't know, sorry, Tony McHale, I can't keep stats during games here, but it's not like the champions, the Lane Tech champions, have rolled up 300 yards of rushing today. It has been the Dolphin defense has done a nice job against this tough rushing attack that they have. All right, so I try to keep saying these things to see if maybe it can happen. So have I talked about the long snap from?
I can't recall. I seem to recall. I seem to think you mentioned it.
Come on, let's moonshot this over his head. It's up. Oh, just out of the reach. And then he gets off a nice punt back into Dolphin territory at the 35-yard line.
It'll be 1st and 10.
So the moonshot snap reeled in by the Lane Tech punter. So it puts the Dolphin offense back on the field. So they've had some looks downfield. And let's see if we can click on one of those again. So Newman in at quarterback. Anthony Hood and Duhan coming over here to his right-hand side. Clayton doing a nice job out of the backfield, picking up those extra blockers, extra blitzers. Gassa and I think Alex Dale. Newman whistles one in. There we go. There we go. Hey, I'm going to keep talking. We need some luck our way.
I think that may have been a planned play, the way Duhan was standing there.
Well, Newman drilled it in there. He threw a fastball in that got popped up in the air. Completion to Duhan. Dolphins back on the line. Back to it. Newman gets the snap. Handoff to Clayton. Clayton up the middle. Close to a first down. I think he got about 9 yards. Dolphins going to stay in the hurry up here. So you've got on this side of the field, Duhan, Dale, Gassa, Anthony Hood split wide to the left-hand side. Wonder if they might take a shot here.
There we go.
He's got Gassa deep, but underthrown a bit. So Gassa actually had a step on Thurman.
I hate to say it, but if he had caught that, it would have been called back because he initially pushed off on the
Yeah,
defender.
there was, again, some hands on that, but it was underthrown. They saw that look. So third down and about 2. Clock stops, 6:46 left in the fourth quarter. Dolphins on the drive here.
Just pick up the first down here. No need to go for
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
Go for it all.
Newman gets the snap, surveys the field, drills it to Duhan, who brings it in. There you go, Quinn Duhan. Great catch. Duhan backpedaling, double caught that thing as he was going down. Dolphins on the drive here inside the 10, probably a first and goal from the 10-yard line.
6:30.
Gassa and Duhan to the left. Handoff up the middle to Clayton. Clayton falls forward for a couple yards. Dolphins are going to get right back to it here. Clock running, 6:22 left in the fourth quarter. Again, 21-7, Dolphins trailing. Newman's got Gassa, Dale, Duhan to his left, Hood to his right, Clayton in the backfield. Snap to Newman, looks to Hood, drills it to Hood, touchdown.
That was a nice throw. Hood did a good job of maintaining inside leverage.
Newman threw the 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
On a rope.
So on for the extra point, Solomon Bradley. Offsides by Lane Tech. So now you got 1 yard to go. I think Coach Finger's going to roll out the big boys, and they're going to go for 2 on this.
Riverboat Dan.
Hey, I think that's what you do. You're you're trailing here, 21-13. So offense back on the field, 21-13, 6:04 left. Newman with Clayton next to him. He's got Duhan, Gassa to his right. He rolls right. He looks back left. He's got Dale wide open.
Excellent call by Coach Finger. Nice redirection play.
Yeah, so Newman rolling to his right.
So the score, Lane Tech 21, Whitney Young.
Fired it back left to Dale. So 21-15. Lane hanging on to the lead here with 6:04 left. Big play there was the fortuitous bounce to Duhan. So again, Coach Finger used 2 timeouts last possession, I think real wisely. I mean, that was the key possession. Dolphins attempted an onside kick last week. Again, this is Alex Dale, not Brandon Bardsmar, our first string kicker. He's out with an injury. So Dale is up. 6 Dolphins to Dale's right, 4 to his left. Here's the onside try.
Nice bounce.
Bounces up in the air. It's out there. Unbelievable. That ball was out there for the taking.
That's Zach Shashola.
Wow.
Tech takes over on downs at the 44-yard
Well,
line of Whitney Young.
That's the way the ball bounces, I guess. That was wow.
Did I mention that I feel like the ball has just not bounced our way enough?
It hasn't.
I mean, just because we got that one on that last possession doesn't mean we can't get any more. Come on, we're down. Football karma gods, we're down like 19-1 on good bounces right now.
Credit to Alex Dale on an excellent kick. It bounced. It really couldn't have asked for more except for that recovery.
So Joyce in motion, he gets the pitch.
Pitched to Joyce.
Bam.
Up the middle for a couple of yards. Tackle by number 7.
Joseph Clayton right through the middle to take down Joyce. Clock rolling here. You got to know that Lane Tech is going to take every second that they possibly can on their on every down. So brings up 2nd and 9 from the 43-yard line. 2nd and 9 from the 43. At Dolphin D. Digging in. Nick Dale, Bob and Efesimi Opadele up the middle. Clayton and Dale at those inside linebacker positions. Seward under center. Merrill in motion, double pitch,
handoff.
and that's probably gonna find it. Duhan, nice job closing that. So
Inside the 20-yard line.
they had been hammering the middle of the line, and they were able to get that double handoff to Joyce, and he popped it out to the right-hand side for a big first down for them at the 21-yard line.
It's just a good call. Exploited our aggressive inside attack.
Yeah, great speed by Duhan on that because I thought Joyce was gone on that one, but Duhan did a nice job of tackling, which just keeps us in play here. So clock running, 4:45 left in the game. 4:45 left in the fourth quarter. 21-15. Seward at quarterback. Monarch Butterfly just buzzed the tower. Just buzzed right by Scott Clayton's left ear. Handoff up the middle to Katso Gradakis. Boban Efesimi Opadele on the bottom of that pile. I think Clayton
Brought down by 55.
in on the tackle as well. Alexander Dale over there.
Whoa.
The PA announcer is doing his best job on Boban Efesimi Opadele.
Boban Efesimi Opadele. Say it fast.
I'm probably messing up Giannis Katsogradakis, but anyway, that stopped for just a gain of 2. So second down. The referees are.
Chicago Public League asks all of its students, officials, coaches, families, and school staff to promote sportsmanship before, during, and after every game. Positive sports
I'm not sure what
student athletes can inspire them.
I'm not sure what that was.
Excellence in
The clock has stopped.
and encourage them to become key
The
community
referees got
leaders
together.
after their time at CPS.
It wasn't a timeout, though, because the players didn't come to the side. So I'm not quite sure what's must have just gotten together, a quick conversation, because now the clock is running again. 3:51 left.
An inclusive environment.
They were putting their lunch orders in.
Yeah. Sorelli's Finer Foods, great lunch order. Seward under center.
Clayton with the assist.
Thank you. Joyce in motion. Pitch to Joyce. Ball on the ground.
Joyce picked
Harrison Gassa. And the ball is on the ground again. Although I think they had blown it dead.
but deemed down.
So 20-1 now to the
football gods on bounces, 20-1. That ball was on the ground, bounced up in a way that Joyce was able to corral it. And
With 3:10 left in the game.
now it does bring up a third down, third and long. I will say this. The Lane Tech kicker is good. Mugdeem Creho, he nailed a 42-yarder in the last game. So it's definitely an option for them here to put them up by 2 scores. So they may stay conservative on this third down play and put it in Mugdeem's hands. So there's Merrill. Nice tackle right up the middle. I think that was Alexander Dale and Joseph Clayton on the tackle. So it's going to bring up 4th down. And, yeah, Mugdeem Creho is on. And so he nailed a 42-yarder last week against Taft. He's lining up for what's going to be a 35-yarder. 35-yarder here. Dolphins got to get a push up the middle. Let's talk about that long snap and see where it goes. It is handled. The kick is up, and the kick is good.
And it's good. Creho.
So last year,
Next on the field goal.
the special teams, if we think back to the Lane Tech Dolphins game last year, Fernando the Weapon Lozano nailed a long field goal for the Dolphins, along with the pick 6 from Alexander Dale for R10. That day for the Lane Tech team, they had 2 field goals and I believe an extra point blocked. So the difference today in a really, really well-played game on both sides of the ball is that Mugdeem Creho has nailed 3 extra points and now a 35-yard field goal that puts Lane Tech up by 9. Oh, I forgot to add that to the score. Sorry. I keep doing the math, hoping I can get that score to 8, but it is 9. So Dolphins going to get the ball back here. Kick is away. Kick is deep to DeMille. He fields it at the 10, cutting to his right. Finn Merrill made a nice special teams tackle, chasing him down at about the 25-yard line. So Merrill showing some of his open field speed against one of the Dolphins' fastest players, Will the Thrill DeMille. So Dolphins still some life left in those Finns. 24-15, 156 left. Newman out there at quarterback. Anthony Hood to his left. 3 receivers, Dale Duhan Gassa to his right. He looks to Hood. Hood cutting it up the middle. Hood on the run across the 40, out to the 43-yard line.
He got a good block.
So with Lane Tech in a little bit of that softer zone, they're able to get that ball right to Hood. Trips to Newman's right. Hood to his left. He's back. He's looking Hood's way. He's got Hood out of bounds. Out of bounds for a first down at the 49-yard line. 1:36 left in the game. So call it the 48-yard line with a first down. 1:36 left. Probably need to look deep here in the next play or two. So Hood now.
They're blowing
the
play.
right.
They're blowing it dead. Stopping the clock.
Well, I think that the chains didn't move immediately, so I wonder if
they're resetting the clock to 1:35.
Clock is reset to 1 minute 35 seconds.
So, yeah, Hood was out of bounds on that first down play. So 1st and 10 at the 48. 1:35 left. Dolphins trailing by 9. Well-played game.
Duhan and Hood to Newman's right. Clayton is his personal protector in the backfield. Gassa and Dale to his left. There's a pass just out of the hands of Alexander Dale. So just out of the hands of Dale on the first down throw from Newman. So brings up 2nd and 10 at the 48-yard line. Newman collects the play from Boucher with the clock stopped. Heads back into the huddle. I'm sure if this, they're clearly going to be hustling this wherever it is. So trips to Newman's right, Gassa, Duhan, Dale, Anthony Hood to his right. Newman on the run, fires it back across to Hood. He's taken down by Merrill in a wrestling move. I mean, the Lane Tech fans get all fired up about that. It wasn't that big of a deal. Hood was trying to kind of hurdle him, and so Merrill caught him sort of mid-jump. Settle down, Champions fans. Clock moving, 1:03 left. 3rd down and 5. Good protection for Newman. He's looking deep. He's throwing deep, intercepted by Merrill.
Intercepted by Lane Tech's Finn Merrill.
So
that'll just about do it.
That does it. I mean, Champions will be able to come out here. Coach Finger not happy about that to Newman. I think he had both Duhan and Hood out there. So again, a really, really well played game today on the Lane Tech side of things. Katsu Gradakis with 2 touchdown runs. Finn Merrill, who just made that interception, had another touchdown run. On the Dolphins side of the ball, you had Gassa with a touchdown catch today. Anthony Hood with a touchdown catch. Alexander Dale with a 2-point conversion catch. So now we're just going to line up here for the last 42 seconds. I think Lane Tech will have to take one more snap. As we said, we're down 20-1 in the good bounce category right now. We're going to look back at this film and understand that was, again, a winnable game, but a really, really well-played game. So Lane Tech came in here 4-0. They leave 5-0. Whitney Young came in 1-3. We leave 1-4. But a really, really well-played game. I mean, talk about things. Offensive line gave a ton of time to Newman all day to throw. Defensive job that was the Dolphins were able to put on against this meat grinder of a double wing offense that Lane Tech rolls out was great. Really nice plays. I think Newman put a bunch of passes on guys, drove up and down the field. A couple passes that were dropped or just out of the hands of guys that could have made a difference. But overall, really solid effort. And Scott, you've said it before. I mean, this is a young team. We've got Alexander Dale as a senior. Dacre Moraz got in for some plays on special teams today and a couple snaps on defense. Those are your only two seniors. So this is a young team getting in a lot of extremely important reps right now. So tough game coming up. We face off against Phillips this coming Friday night at Lane. Homecoming game. So we still haven't quite located that Phillips-Taft score. But Phillips is a powerhouse, and it's going to be a tough task to face. The Dolphins have to keep, I think, taking the positives that they can out of this, right? I mean, so on the defensive side of the ball, Clayton played a great game, a bunch of tackles out there. I think the middle of that line, Opadelli Nefasimi is out there for almost the entire game, but Buster Cepeda rotating in, Nick Dale rotating in, Jason Perez rotating in, all did a really nice job. Joseph Gray, a number of really nice tackles from that cornerback position, filling on some of those outside runs from Lane. So great job there. And on the offensive side, I think Newman had a really nice day at quarterback. Spread the ball around. So Hood saw a bunch of catches. Alexander Dale saw a bunch of catches. Duhan with a few nice catches. And Harrison Gassa with a touchdown catch, and then and a delivered pass on a pass interference call. So again, one of those things. If you look back, probably going to be more than a handful of things that you can look at and think if it could have gone the other way, the final score of this would have gone the other way. So Scott, thanks again for joining me today.
No problem. I'm sorry I'm going to miss next week, but I'll be thinking about everybody from Italy.
All right, Scott, you enjoy Italy. Maybe tip a nice glass of what's your favorite Italian beverage?
Yes.
A few of those. Have some pasta and tune into the live stream. Might be a little late for you. Italy, what's that, about a 7-hour time difference from here? So 7 o'clock kick, 2 in the morning. That's perfect.
We'll see what happens.
So thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Whitney Young Dolphins football. Our shout out to Principal Ricky Harris, Athletic Director Chris Cassidy, Head Coach Daniel Finger, Coach Finger, and the entire staff. Thanks for everything you're doing for this program. We're going to get over the hump. We didn't do it today, but great game and a lot of fun. Everybody, enjoy your weekends. Go Dolphins.